Have you ever had someone stop mid-sentence, squint at you and say, "Wait, you're how old?" You can see the confusion in their eyes. It's that look people give when they realize the math doesn't add up. You smile, shrug, maybe pretend it's your moisturizer, when really you just drank 3 espressos and slept 5 hours. Again. At first, it feels flattering, a tiny ego boost, maybe even a little awkward. But what if it's more than that? What if the reason you look younger than your age has almost nothing to do with skincare routines, DNA, or drinking collagen-infused oat milk lattes that cost more than your car insurance? What if it's something deeper? In my experience, when someone consistently looks younger than the number on their ID, there's usually something going on beneath the surface, something most people never notice. A pattern, a mindset, even a quiet philosophy. Because age isn't just measured in years, it's written in your posture, your presence, your way of moving through the world, especially when you're on 2% battery and still pretending to have it all together. And some people, consciously or not, have discovered ways to stay light, energized, and open, long after the world says they shouldn't. So if you've ever been told you don't look your age, stay with me. We're going to unpack the hidden psychological reasons why. And once you understand them, you can choose to cultivate them. No serum required. 1. You have an unbreakable spirit. Some people walk through fire and come out looking suspiciously well-rested. You know the type. They've lived through heartbreak, job losses, family chaos, hospital visits, and at least one identity crisis. And yet somehow their face still has that "I just got 8 hours of sleep" glow. Meanwhile, you skip lunch once and look like you've aged 5 years. But it's not magic, and it's definitely not just skincare. It's something quieter, something built over time, an unbreakable spirit. Now, I know that sounds dramatic, but it's not about being invincible or immune to pain. It's about not letting pain become your identity. Here's what most people forget. Your mind doesn't just influence how you feel, it influences how you look. Stress isn't subtle. Long-term anxiety leaves fingerprints under your eyes, in the curve of your spine, even in how you hold your jaw when no one's watching. High cortisol? That's not just a science word. That's the silent architect behind wrinkles, inflammation, bad sleep, and yes, the 2 a.m. doom-scrolling face you make when you realize you forgot to drink water all day. And yet, some people go through all of that and still radiate something light. They've been bent, but not broken. They've taken the hits, but they didn't frame them and hang them on the wall. Instead of turning their pain into personality, they turned it into perspective. That's the real secret. They don't pretend life is easy. They just refuse to carry every wound like a souvenir. They feel everything, then let most of it go. Not because it's easy, but because they've learned that carrying it all costs more than it gives. And trust me, there's no loyalty reward program for emotional baggage. The result? Their bodies stay relaxed. Their eyes stay open. Their posture says, "I've been through some things, but I'm still here." That kind of strength doesn't scream. It hums, and you can feel it when you're near them. So if someone tells you that you look younger than your age, maybe it's not genetics or good lighting. Maybe it's because you didn't let bitterness move in and decorate your face. And if you haven't learned how to let go yet, start now. Not all at once, not perfectly, but piece by piece. The moment you stop rehearsing every loss, the moment you stop replaying every betrayal like it's your personal Netflix original, that's when the weight begins to lift. And strangely enough, your face usually does too. 2. You embrace change instead of fearing it. There's something unmistakable about people who age gracefully, not just in the way they look, but in the way they move through the world. They carry themselves with ease, not because life has been easy, but because they've learned how to respond to change without collapsing, or at least without turning into a walking ball of existential dread. And in a world that updates faster than your apps do, that's a rare and powerful skill. Most people don't hate change, they just hate being changed, because change often feels like loss. Loss of control, loss of rhythm, loss of the one coffee shop that finally got your name right. So they hold on to the same job, the same identity, the same story that made sense 10 years ago but now feels outdated. But here's the catch. The tighter you cling to what no longer fits, the more it wears you down. And you can see it in their faces, their walk, the sigh they let out when the Wi-Fi buffers for 3 seconds. That's not just tech frustration. That's the tension of someone fighting the flow of life every single day. We think aging is about gray hairs and back pain, but often it starts with mental rigidity. The moment we decide, this is who I am, and stop questioning it. The people who stay young don't chase anti-aging creams. They chase growth. They don't say, I'm too old for this. They say, why not try? They upgrade themselves more often than their phones, and not because it's trendy, but because they've realized something vital. When you resist change, you suffer twice. First from the thing itself, then from your Netflix-level drama about how it shouldn't be happening. But when you roll with change, awkwardly, imperfectly, something softens. You stop fighting the current. Your nervous system takes a breath. Your inner world stops sounding like a group chat full of complaints. And strangely, you start to glow. These are the people who sign up for pottery classes in their 50s, who go to language meetups at 60, who download Duolingo at 70 and still get passive-aggressively roasted by the owl. They're not trying to be impressive. They're trying to stay alive. And that effort, it shows. Their posture says, I'm still becoming. Their face doesn't carry the tightness of regret or the scowl of someone who refuses to learn new features on their phone. So if you want to stay young, not just in how you look, but in how you feel, let yourself evolve. Try the new thing. Let go of what's outgrown. Be willing to feel awkward. Be willing to not have it all figured out. Because youth isn't the absence of wrinkles. It's the presence of movement and the courage to dance, even when the song changes. 3. Your mind is always curious. Some people walk into a room and you can feel it. They're alive. Not because they're loud or attention-seeking, but because their presence is alert. Their eyes light up when they ask questions. Their voice has warmth. They make you feel like the world is still interesting, like there's still something worth paying attention to beyond the notifications on your phone. And even if they're in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, they somehow have the energy of someone who just discovered their new favorite book, podcast, or conspiracy theory about why planes make that noise when they land. That spark, it's curiosity. We tend to think of youth as something tied to appearance, skin, speed, hairlines. But real youth begins in the mind. And one of the fastest ways to age, faster than forgetting your phone charger or accidentally reading the comments section, is to stop being curious. When curiosity dies, life flattens. You stop asking why, you stop exploring, and eventually your days start to feel like reruns of a show you didn't even like the first time. You can see it in people who've slipped into routine without reflection. They speak in autopilot. They move like every hallway is just another hallway. Even their hugs feel like expired coupons. Technically still valid, but missing warmth. Now contrast that with someone who's still curious. They ask weird questions. They try new things, even if they're terrible at them. They sign up for cooking classes or language apps, or suddenly decide they want to learn about medieval architecture at 2 a.m. And it shows. Their face doesn't carry the stiffness of someone who thinks they've seen it all. Their eyes don't glaze over mid-conversation. They lean in. They laugh more. They still fumble with things, but they enjoy the fumbling. Science backs it up. Mentally active people retain sharper brains, healthier moods, and even more robust immune systems. But you don't need a journal article to know when someone is genuinely engaged with life. They just feel better to be around. They don't talk at you. They talk with you. They don't assume. They wonder. And that wonder, it's contagious. It's not about reading 50 books a year or being fluent in 5 languages. It's about staying open to the world, to yourself, to new ideas, even if they sound strange at first. Looking at you, cold plunges and mushroom coffee. So if someone ever says, "Wow, you look younger than your age," it might not be your sunscreen. It might be that you're still mentally alive, still asking, still stretching, still seeing life as something worth discovering, not just surviving. Because when your mind stays young, time struggles to keep up. And the people who never stop being curious, they never truly grow old. 4. You express your emotions freely. There's a quiet heaviness that settles into the body when emotions have no place to go. You can see it in someone's posture, like they're carrying a backpack filled with invisible bricks. And you can hear it too, in the overly polite "I'm fine" that's about as convincing as saying you only watched 1 episode on Netflix. Over time, that inner pressure becomes visible. Tight jaws, stiff shoulders, smiles that don't quite reach the eyes. It's like the body starts whispering what the mouth refuses to say. Here's the thing, emotions aren't just thoughts. They're physical processes. And if you don't let them out, they'll rent space somewhere else, usually in your nervous system, your digestion, or that weird tension you get in your neck that no massage can fix. We've all been told that real strength means keeping it together. Don't cry, don't complain, don't make things uncomfortable. But the truth is, bottling up your emotions doesn't make you strong. It just turns you into a beautifully aging soda can under pressure. Eventually, something's gonna burst, and probably at the worst time, like during a work meeting or at brunch. Real strength looks different. It looks like crying without apologizing, speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes, laughing so hard you snort in public and not pretending it didn't happen. And those who express emotions like that, they tend to look lighter, softer, younger, not because they've avoided hardship, but because they haven't let it calcify inside them. Their face moves, their energy flows. They don't wear the mask of "I'm good" 24/7, and somehow that honesty, that full range of expression, keeps them more alive. Science agrees. Suppressing emotions increases stress hormones like cortisol, weakens your immune system, ruins your sleep, and yes, adds years to your appearance. So basically, cry now or wrinkle later. Meanwhile, people who express their emotions regularly, they sleep better, heal faster, connect more deeply. They don't carry emotional tension into every room like a hidden dress code, and their bodies thank them for it. And quieter joints, brighter eyes, and the kind of relaxed facial muscles that no Botox can replicate. So if someone says, "You look younger than your age," maybe it's not your diet. Maybe it's the fact that you sobbed during a movie last week, told your friend they hurt your feelings, and laughed until your stomach hurt, all in the same weekend. You didn't store it, you released it, and your body noticed. You don't need to become an open book or cry on Instagram Live, but you can start by asking, what am I holding that needs to move? And the next time emotion shows up, sadness, joy, grief, awe, maybe let it rise, let it flow, let it pass. Because when your feelings stay in motion, so do you. And that motion, that's where youth lives. 5. You surround yourself with positive energy. Some people walk into a room and everything just feels better. You breathe easier, the tension lifts, even your posture improves. like your spine remembered what it was built for. They don't even have to say much. Their presence speaks for them. And oddly enough, these are often the same people who seem to age in reverse. It's not a mystery. It's the people they choose to keep around, and the ones they gently but firmly do not. Because energy is contagious. Whether it's calm or chaotic, uplifting or exhausting, your body feels it, even if your mind is still pretending to follow the group chat. If you spend enough time around someone who's always complaining, always criticizing, or always catastrophizing the weather forecast, you will absorb it. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. And little by little, it adds up. Your shoulders rise, your jaw tightens. You start sighing more and blinking slower. Eventually, you look in the mirror and wonder why your face suddenly says, "I've been trapped in a group project with people who don't respond." But here's the good news. The opposite is also true. Surround yourself with people who lift you, calm you, support you, and something shifts. Your nervous system starts to relax. You stop bracing for conflict in every conversation. You laugh more, you sleep better, and your face, it softens, lightens, begins to glow, not with highlighter, but with actual peace. Science backs this up too. People with strong, positive social circles have lower stress levels, better immune systems, and slower aging at the cellular level. Translation: your kind, funny, emotionally intelligent friend group might actually be better for your skin than your night serum. The ones who age gracefully usually have boundaries, not coldness, not arrogance, just clarity. They don't attend every argument they're invited to. They don't let emotional vampires set up camp in their group chats. They know that energy is currency, and they spend it wisely. If someone tells you that you look younger than your age, take a moment. Look at who's around you. Are these people adding to your energy or sneaking handfuls of it when you're not looking? Because your environment isn't neutral. It shapes your chemistry, your posture, even the expression you wake up with. And while you can't always control the world, you can choose who gets a seat at your table and who gets politely unfollowed in real life. Choose joy, choose peace, and your body will notice. It always does. 6. You live with passion and purpose. There's something magnetic about people who live with purpose. They don't have to be loud or famous or on some never-ending hustle grind, but you can tell there's a fire in them that hasn't gone out. They wake up with direction. Even if it's not glamorous, they're not dragging themselves through the day like a zombie with a to-do list. They move with intention, and somehow they look 5 years younger than everyone else in the room who's just trying to survive until Friday. That quiet inner drive, it's doing more than you think, because when life starts to feel meaningless, your body picks up on it. That's when fatigue kicks in. Not the "I stayed up too late" kind, but the deeper kind. The kind that makes you sigh more often, stare out windows without knowing why, and wonder when exactly your face stopped having an opinion. You've probably seen this before. Someone who's technically alive, but spiritually running on airplane mode. They go through the motions, eat, work, scroll, sleep, and somehow they still feel more tired than the guy training for a triathlon. But the people who seem to glow, the ones with that subtle, ageless vitality, they have something that pulls them forward. A project, a mission, a dream. Even if it's weirdly specific, like restoring vintage typewriters or starting a YouTube channel about Stoic philosophy and skincare. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it's real, that it belongs to them, that it makes them feel alive. When you have that spark, that sense of "this matters," your entire system changes. Your brain releases dopamine and serotonin. Your posture straightens. You smile without being told to for a group photo. You don't age as fast because your body isn't living in neutral. Studies confirm it too. People with purpose tend to live longer, get sick less often, and recover faster. Basically, your passion might be better than your vitamins. And cheaper, too. And no, purpose doesn't mean becoming the next big thing. You don't need to start a company, write a memoir, or launch an NFT for your dog. You just need something that makes you feel like your time matters. Because when you have something worth waking up for, you carry less tension. You waste less energy pretending to care about things you don't. And you stop aging from the inside out due to boredom and low-key existential dread. So if someone says, "You look younger than your age," maybe it's not your sleep schedule or your diet. Maybe it's the fact that you still care, still try, still light up when you talk about something you love. Because youth doesn't always come from rest. Sometimes it comes from being lit up, even if that light flickers now and then. 7. You let go of the past. Some people carry time like a backpack they forgot they were wearing. You see it in their face, a certain tension in the jaw, a far-away look in the eyes, like they're replaying a conversation from 2013 and still losing the argument. And over time, all that holding on starts to show, not just emotionally, but physically. Because here's the thing, your body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and an old memory you refuse to stop scrolling through at 2 a.m. If you're constantly replaying regret, betrayal, or that one awkward moment you'll never live down, your nervous system stays on high alert. That tension doesn't just live in your mind. It parks itself in your shoulders, your stomach, your sleep cycles, and eventually, your mirror. People who hold on tightly to the past often start aging from the inside out. Not because they've lived more, but because they've been reliving the same thing for years. But then there's the other kind of person, the one who's been through heartbreak, disappointment, total plot twists, and somehow still walks like they're not carrying a suitcase full of unresolved drama. They didn't forget the past. They just stopped offering it rent-free space in their chest. They've learned the fine art of letting go. Not by pretending it didn't happen or slapping on toxic positivity like a fresh coat of paint, but by accepting that what's done is done. And dragging it through the present only makes everything heavier, including your face. You can feel the difference. They're more present, more responsive. They laugh without that edge of bitterness. They've stopped using the past as their entire personality. And somehow they look younger for it. Science backs this up too. People who practice forgiveness and emotional processing tend to have lower cortisol, stronger immune systems, and fewer signs of premature aging. Translation: releasing resentment is cheaper than eye cream and works better. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've chosen peace over proof, healing over rehashing, energy over endless inner court trials where you're the lawyer, the judge, and the very tired jury. So if someone says, "You don't look your age," maybe it's not the facial serum. Maybe it's the fact that you're not still emotionally stuck in a scene that ended 10 years ago. And if you are stuck, it's okay. Start small. Write the letter you won't send. Cry the tears you postponed. Say goodbye to the storyline that keeps looping with the same ending. Because when you let go of what weighs you down, your face stops holding it too. So if you've ever wondered why you look younger than your age, now you know. It's not just about genetics. It's not about flawless skin or drinking 8 glasses of water a day, though that certainly helps. It's about something much deeper, the habits of your mind, the resilience of your spirit, the way you move through the world. Youthfulness, real youthfulness, isn't frozen in time. It's created through the way you respond to change, through curiosity, emotional honesty, purposeful living, and your ability to release what no longer serves you. Some people age because the world told them to. Others stay young because they never stopped growing. If you've cultivated even a few of these habits, keep going. And if you haven't yet, start now. because the body follows where the soul leads, and nothing reflects vitality more than a person who's at peace, engaged, open, and still becoming. If this message resonated with you, consider subscribing for more reflections like this, videos that explore how we think, how we grow, and what it means to live wisely in a changing world. And if you know someone who always gets mistaken for being younger than they are, maybe send this their way. Chances are they're doing something right, even if they don't know why.